There you go. Oh.
All right. Good morning, everybody. Today is Daf Ayin Ches. Couple more days to say the Nashim. All right. We left off bottom line on Ayin Zayin Amar Beis. Amar Rav Ashi Hilkach. Therefore, when I say therefore, it knows everything that we said yesterday. Can't go back, right? Hilkach. Therefore. Kohen habal al chayso, right? So a Kohen who is ba al chayso, zayna mashile chalal mashila. So according to that we were discussing yesterday, so he does make her a zona, right? That if she commits a rayas, right, with her brother, so she does become a zona, but she's not become a chalal. As we saw yesterday at the end, which we were discussing, based up. This is the step right before that a chalal only comes from Isser Kahuna. Over here, there's Isser Rayas. This is regular because any brother and sister. So therefore, but once you commit a rayas, you become a zona, and then so zona mashila mechalala mashila and chazu bala, and then if he's bala again after she was already made a zona, then asa chalala. Then now she's now a chalala, right? Because over there. She now, since there is an Isser or Kahuna with a Zona, right, with a with the Kohen, right? So therefore, now she is a Chalal. Fine. 2 lines on the top. Amar Rav Yehuda Kohen Gadol bi'almana. So Kohen Gadol like Eshtayim. So he gets 2 sets of malchus. Achas mishum lo yikach. One because of right Almana Gusha Chalal Zones lo yikach. And the achas in the second time is shum lo yichalal, right? Because you should not go ahead and profane, right? And therefore, since he's making her making her a halala by this this iser bia, so therefore he is violated 2 things: 1 of taking her, and 2 of making her a halala. If you're looking at mishum lo yichal zaro, maybe you should get a 3rd set of malchus for this bia. Why? Because he's profaning his children lo yichal zaro. The answer is B'shaloi Gamar Biyasa, right? He didn't have Gamar Biyah, therefore there was no Zera in this case. So Meisiv Rav Ezekash Almano Grusha, like Emishtum Shnei Shemas. So a Mano who's also a Grusha, right? Who by Kohen Gadol. So like who gets Makam because of 2 Shemas, 2 different Isurim, Almano Grusha. So my lash Shemas Vasulo is now referring to the each hours there's a total set of 2. Now 1 for Amana, 1 for Grusha, but not 2 for Amana. Right, we just said 2 for Amana, right? 1 for the Isser Bia, and the 1 for being Mechal her.
Wait, she's a Grusha
and
a Amana.
Correct.
So she was married to someone before,
sure.
She got divorced.
Okay, right.
And then she's
a Grusha and Amana, yeah, whatever it is, okay. Yeah, that's the case. Right, it doesn't make a really different order, but the point is she's a Grusha Almana marrying Kohen Gadol, and by the Kohen Gadol, so each one is 1 Isser, there's 1 Malchus, set of Malchus for each Grusha and Amana, but you just said Amana, she should get 2 sets. So it's too low, and the Gemara says no. Shnei Shemos al Zeh, Shnei Shemos al Zeh. No, it means that each one she gets 2 for, right? 1 for the Isser Bia, and the 1 for making her a Chalola. Ihachi a Maseifa. What other the same says Grusha u Chalutza. Chayiv al Achas. So Grusha Chalutza, she's only chayiv for 1, right? So it sounds like so only 1 set of malchus. So Haki Kamar in a chayiv ela al achas. Only for 1 of them, only the Isser Grusha, not the Isser Chalutza.
She's the one who gets the malchus.
Right, the Kohen gets it. Yeah, right. The Kohen gets it because really we're soon going to see it's only for Grusha and not Chalutza.
The Kohen gets the malchus.
Yeah, did I say the opposite?
Yes.
I'm sorry, I was looking at I'm sorry. Excuse me. So the aim is safe. So Grusha Chalutza in a chayiv el achas. So over there, if it's a case of a Grusha Chalutza, it's only chayiv for 1. So Achikamar in a chayiv el achas. Really, it's 2 Isurim, but it's only 1 set for 1 of them. The Chalutza derabanan. So you're telling me that Chalutza you're completely potter from. There's no malchus there, right? Because it's only derabanan. But Tani, when the Bible says Grusha, Kohen should go ahead and marry a Grusha. Only yellow Grusha Chalutza Menai. How do you know Chalutza? Tamalei. Therefore it says V'isha, right? It says Grusha Isha. So the extra word of Isha comes to include also a Chalutza. So we see it's written in the Torah. So the Gemara says, no, Midrabanan really is Dirabanan, Ukras Machla B'Yama. It's only a hint. The pasuk's a hint to it. It's not a real lav in the Torah that one would get Malchus for. So Amar Abaye, Nusugya, or Sugya-ish. Amar Abaye, Kidesh, a person is Mekadesh, a woman. Or not, person, the Kohen is Mekadesh, someone who is forbidden to. So Leica, he gets Malchus for the Kedusha. And Baal, or if he is Baal without marrying her, Leica, he gets Malchus. Kiddush, if he just marries her like Mishum Layikach, the pasuk says Layikach. And Baal, if he's Baal Leah, that's like Mishum Layichalu. You should not go ahead and profane her. So according to Abaye, you get Malchus, one for the Kedushin and one for the Bia. And Rav Amar Baal, if he's goes ahead and is Leica, then he gets Malchus. Low Baal, but if he's not Baal, ain't a Leica. Mishum, right? In other words, Mishum T'chsiv Layikach Layichalu. You know, if he just marries her without being Bala, he actually does not get Malchus. Why? Because the pasuk says Layikach Layichalu. Matam Layikach. What's the reason why the Torah prohibits you from marrying her? Mishum Layichalu. Because he should not go ahead and profane her. But if he's not profaning her, i.e., he was not Bala, therefore he would not be Chayiv Malchus. Umoda Abaye, and Abaye was Moda, who separates them. The Machzir Grushaso. In the case of a person who remarries he divorced his wife, she married somebody else, and then he takes her back again. Shem Kidesh v'lo Baal she'eina Leica. Right? That if he takes her back, but he's not Baal, he just takes her back with Kedushin, then he does not get Malchus, because it says Lakachta lo aliyes lo l'isha, because it's over there Amarachmana. Because it's over there, and he takes so he takes her for a wife a second time, and he's Ba'alah, right? And therefore, a regular, no, that's a regular person. So over there, you don't get Malchus in that case.
Of course not.
Right, what do you mean? Malchus Grushatsu, you do. So, Malchus Grushatsu, you get Malchus, but if it's only because there's a lot.
Wait, we're talking that she got married in between after?
Yeah, that's the only case of Malchus Grushatsu.
Oh.
Right? So over here, so the chiddush over here is that if he was not Balel, he was only Mekadisher, then it's different than the case, and there is no Malchus in this case. As is Lakachta Loli Lisha. Umayda Rava, and Rava would agree to Abaye. In other words, that Kedushin by itself is Malchus, and Bia by itself is Malchus, in which case, Umayda Rava, the Kohen Gadol Bi'amana. Right? In the case of Kohen Gadol Bi'amana, Shein Bal, V'loi Kidesh, if he's Bal Lev, V'loi Kidesh, Shaleika, that he does get Malchus. Why? Because the Torah says there, it says there by Kohen Gadol, you should not go ahead and Chalal Zara Be'amav, and he was Chilel, and he was Mechal. Shnei Hamaydim, and both of them agree, B'machzer Gushaso, and one who goes ahead and takes back his Gusha, Shein Bal, the like Kidesh, if he's Bal Lab, he's not Mekadesh, Shein Aleika, he does not get Malchus there. Why? Because derech likuchen asur Torah, because only derech likuchen asur Torah, but not derech znus. So therefore, if he's not mekadesh, he's just balel. Therefore, would not be chayv malchus in such a case. Fine. Any case of malchus rishasa. Machzir gushasa is not a din in kahuna. That's a din by everybody.
Machzir gushasa just refers to taking back your divorced wife.
Yes, correct.
It does not refer to her having been married in between. You're taking her back.
A case of machzir grusha. So if you marry a woman, then you divorce her. So you're allowed to go ahead and remarry your divorced wife.
Yes.
But you cannot go ahead and take her back if she married somebody else.
That's right.
That's called machzir grusha. That's the isser of machzir grusha. You're saying opposite. That's the isser in the Torah. We're talking about this in the Torah. We're not talking about the heter. Obviously, if someone can remarry their wife, there's no issue with that, right? The issue is when she marries somebody else. So anytime the Gemara says the machzir grushaso, it's talking about the situation where there's a lav. And when is the lav? When she marries somebody else. But we're saying if he took her back without marrying her, in other words, she married somebody else and got divorced from him or whatever it was, and then they said he was just bal leha without kedushin, there's no lav there. That's what they're saying. Fine. So now the question is, what is a ger in terms of whether there is isser lekahuna or not? So the daughter of a ger, says Rabbi Yehuda, is just like a daughter of a chalal. Daughter of a chalal, right? So just no good. So it's over here, daughter of a ger. So Tanya Rabbi Yehuda Omer Bas Ger Zachar Kebas Chalo Zachar is like the daughter of a Chalo. V'hadin Noisin, and you could say it's a logical argument. Why? Chalo Shabbat Metiba Kshera, so a Chalo, right, who came from a Jew, right? His father was Jewish, his father was a Kohen. He just happened to go ahead and let's say marry a Grusha, right? Nevertheless, his daughter is Psula. So Ger, a convert, who came from a Kachavim, and a din should be Psula. It's obvious that his daughter should be Pasal Kuna. So the Gemara says, no. Understand? By the Cholol, right? So his creation was Biavera. Now, the reason why he became a Cholol is because his father had Isser Bia with his divorced mother. So the Gemara says, okay, Kohen Gadol Bi'almana Yechiach. Let's say Kohen Gadol Bi'almana, right? As Kohen Gadol She'en Yitziras Avera, because the Kohen Gadol was not created through Avera, it's a regular Kohen Gadol. Nevertheless, beat up Sula, but if he goes ahead and marries Almana, his daughter would be Pasal Kahuna. So the Gemara says, no, Kohen Gadol Bi'almana She'en Bi'aso Bi'avera. So you can say, no, the reason why over there it's no good is because the Bia was Bi'avera. Right, sorry, 100%. So Gemara says Chalo Yochiach. So okay, so Chalo goes back because in the case of the Chalo there is no Isser Bia. V'chazar adin lo yirizek rizeh hatzad hashava shebehed she'eno b'roiv hakal, because each one of them they're not like everybody else. In other words, they have their own special halachas, right? When it comes to a Chalo, afani avig es hagir. So just like a Chalo and a Kohen Gadol with the Be'amana, right? In those cases, so therefore, so through somebody who's not like the general population, who beat up Psula, and then nevertheless the daughter is Psula. So the Gemara says, no. There's a tzad either the way that they were created, right? In other words, that they came from Isser Bia, or the fact that he was with somebody who the child itself, the daughter who was born from them, is Asad Kuna because it was Isser Bia, as opposed to a ger, a convert. There is no Isser Bia at all, right? He's just a convert, right? He's just a convert. So Gemara says, okay, fine. Like lo tema Kohen Gadol Be'amana. Okay, don't say Kohen Gadol Be'amana that their daughter is not Roy the Kahuna because there's Isser Bia. So let's say we're talking about a first generation convert, right, of Mitzri, and another over there. So Mal Mitzri. So the Gemara says, oh, but Mal Mitzri Rishon Shechein Ein Roy Lavoy B'Kahal, right? Well, I say no, Mitzri Rishon you can't learn from there because he's not Roy Lavoy B'Kahal. So he says no, Cholo Yachiach, right? A Cholo can go ahead and marry any Israel he wants. And what's the tzad hashava shebehed? That the Mitzri Rishon and the Chalal is not like the general population who beat up Psula, and their daughters are Psula. Afani Avias a ger. So too, I will go ahead and say the ger Sheina Baravakal who beat up Psula, and the daughter is Psula. So it says no. Malat Tzadashav Shebehen Shechein Psulim B'Biyasa. Their Bia, even though the child of a Mitzri, right? So over there, there's even though. So nevertheless, we're going to say that their Bia with somebody else of a Mitzvah Rishon is usher. In other words, it would passel a woman lekahuna. So Malatash and so too by Yachol. So Malatash Shavashahen Shachay Psolim B'Biyasan. So Rabbi Huda Ger Nami Paisel B'Biyasan. He says no. Ger also passel B'Biyasan. My Sila B'Matzad B'Haydina. He actually says no. Ger also. That if a ger does have relations with her, but he actually passes her mekahuna, and therefore that's and he learns it actually that from Mitzvah Rishon and Chalal. And Rabbi Yaakov Aimer and Rabbi Yaakov. We'll soon see how we pass it. Actually, I think we're going to get into how we pass it. And Rabbi Yaakov Aimer ger b'chulei. So where's the quote of the Mishnah? I'm going to find the Mishnah. Here we go. Who was this? Rabbi Elazar Yaakov. Right, what did he say? Rabbi Elazar Yaakov says Yisrael who marries a Geiris, then the Bita is Ksher Kahuna. But if a Ger married in a Ger Yisrael Bita Ksher Kahuna, but a Ger with a Geiris, that's possible. So as long as there's only one Ger or Geiris, it's Kasher Kahuna. But if they're both Ger and Geiris, then it's no good. So Tanya Rav Shimon ben Yochai says, "Geiras pachus libas shaloi shana v'yemech." We didn't see the shita yet in our Mishnah. If someone converts, born as the Abi Kachavim, but she was converted before the age of 3, and before the age of 3, one does not really have a status of Basula yet, right? She's not Roy Labia. So before she's the ability to be a Basula, right? She converted. She Kashalik Sher Lakuna. She says, V'chol ataf b'nashim hechayu lachem. Right, all the children and the women should go ahead and allow allow them to live. You don't have to kill them. And Valoi Pinchas Hayema, and Pinchas is amongst them, right? So you see that they're Kasha Lakuna as long as they're under the age of 3. They were not a B'ula. The Rabbanan, what did Rabbanan say to that? Hechayu lachem la'avad in the shifras. No, allow them to live, but not to marry. They're not Kasha Lakuna. Rather, for them to be your slaves and your shifras. The Kula Mikra Echa Darshan. They actually all darshan from the same pasuk in Yecheskel. Pasuk says, Almana ugrusha lo yikachu lehem l'nashim, ki basulais mizera beis Yisrael. Right? And then it says at the end, so it says, Almana ugrusha lo yikachu lehem l'nashim, ki basulais mizera beis Yisrael, from the zera of Yisrael. The Almana asher tia Almana mikoy yikachu. And the Kohen to go ahead and take an Almana. That was the end of the pasuk. We'll soon see. Now, Rabbi Yehuda Saver ad east calls Zer Yisrael. Rabbi Yehuda held that until when can one go ahead and marry? Until their entire Zera is from Yisrael. In other words, you can't have any Geras in it. Whereas in Yaakov Saver, Mizera, v'afila mikza Zera. Even if you have some Zera of Yisrael, i.e. the mother or the father, as long as both of them are not a Ger Giyaris, they're kasher l'kuda. Rabbi Yossi Saver, Misha Nizra Yisrael, right? Somebody who was born Yisrael, so even though they're both Gerim, they'll be okay. And Rabbi Shimon Yochai said, Misha Nizra B'Sula B'Yisrael, as long as she became a B'Sula, in other words, she converted before the age of 3, then she's Ksher Lakuna. And Amalei Rav Nachman L'Rava, so it says Rav Nachman L'Rava, hi, right? Hi, Kra, Reisha, understand this pasuk, Reisha B'Koyin Gadol, V'Seva B'Koyin Hedyot. It's a very funny pasuk, right? The pasuk over there says, at the beginning it says an almana you cannot go ahead and take. So who's commanded not to take an almana? That's a Kohen Gadol. And then at the end it says an almana you can take Mr. Kohen. That's referring to a Kohen Hedyot. So at the beginning of the pasuk is talking about a Kohen Gadol, and the pasuk is talking about a Kohen Hedyot, right? The pasuk in Yecheskel, high collaboration of Kohen Gadol, but same with Kohen Hedyot. Yeah. Because of Krahachi, our psukim are like this. Yeah, absolutely. The pasuk says. It says over there that the candle was about to be extinguished in the temple, and Shmuel lied down in the Heichal Hashem. So, how could Shmuel lie down in the Heichal Hashem? There's no sitting in Zara. El Malchei Beis David Bilvad, only the Malchus Beis David. Zel Ner Lakim Ter Nichabe. Period. Right, the Heichal Hashem. In other words, the candle, the light was going out. It was getting extinguished in the temple. And wherever Shmuel was, he was lying in his place. In other words, 2 separate parts of Psukim. The Almana Asher Tia Almana L'Mikohen Yikacha. So then the pasuk says, the Almana who is an Almana from a Kohen, you should go ahead and take. Gemara says, Mikohen in Yisrael lo. You can only take an Almana from a Kohen, but you can't take an Almana from Yisrael. In other words, it sounds like that which we say a Kohen is allowed to go ahead and marry a widow, right? It's only the Kohen Gadol cannot marry a widow. A Kohen can marry a widow. But maybe it's only from a family Kohan. That's what it sounds like. The pasuk says, right? The Almana Sheitia Almana Mikohen Yikachim. So Mikohen in Yisrael lo. So this is not a Hachi Kamar. Mikohen Yikachim Mishar Kohan. In other words, from other Kohanim, in other words, as long as she was not an Almana from a Kohen Gadol, which would be an Isser Biyah, right over there. In other words, as long as she would be fit for other Kohanim, then you can go ahead and take her. Right? In other words, the Kohen Hedyot can take any sort of Almana there would be mutter to a Kohana, even if she is from a Yisrael. And Tanya Abachas is going to learn, in other words, you can go ahead and take, for the Kohen, go ahead and take from other Kohanim, as long as the Kohen can take, you can go ahead and take her. Rabbi Yehuda Omer, Mina Masim LeKahuna Yikacha. Rabbi Yehuda says, right, we're talking about those who can go ahead and marry off their daughters to Kahuna, and those as long as the mom is somebody who had she given birth, her daughter would be Kasha LeKahuna. So to the mom is Kasha LeKahuna when she becomes a widow. And Rabbi Yehuda Rabbi Yehuda goes to Shitasu Damar Bas Ger Zachar Kebas Fel Zachar. right? The daughter of a ger is just like the daughter of a chol, just like the daughter of a chol is no good. So to the daughter of a ger. Why? Because kol shata naiseh bita ata naseh amaso. As long as you can go ahead and marry the daughter, you can go ahead and marry the mana. Chol shiata naiseh bita. But if you can't go ahead and marry their daughter, yata naseh amanaso. So since you can't go ahead and marry the daughter, therefore you also wouldn't be able to go ahead and marry the chol's wife or a ger's wife. And Rabbi Yosi says, "Av ger shenasa geras." Even the ger that marries a geras. And Amar Rav Nuna, Bishmeidula, halacha Rabbi Yosi. The halacha is like Rabbi Yosi that even if a ger marries a geras, their child, right? He converted, she converted. They had a child. Their daughter's kasher l'kuna. However, However, once the Beis Hamikdash was destroyed, Kohanim made a little bit of a siyag, right? A little gather, right? The Maila Asu, right? But Kereza ben Yaakov. In other words, they held like Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov that as long as and he was the one who says that if it's a ger and a gioras, then it's no good. But if you have one, then it would be okay. And if someone comes to ask you, then he should tell we tell him not to. In other words, like Yaakov says that the child of a convert marries a convert, right? Their daughter is not kasher l'kuna, and therefore we hold like him. If someone comes to ask before they get married, however, Nasa once they already got married, then we can be samech on Rabbi Yosi that even the child of a ger and a geiris can go ahead and marry a kohen. Fine. Nayim Mishnah.
Is that the final answer?
I'm sorry. So I'm pretty sure by gerim, I think the child of a ger I think is okay, right? I don't know.
No.
I think ger, yeah. So there's two different things. That's by we're talking about it here. The parents were converts. The child went to Ari Karni B'day school, right? So if that's the case, right? So then you say so those two then we would allow. Could be. I don't know, right? I think someone who converts themselves, that is more of an issue. The Gioris herself to marry a Kohen, but the child of if either tzad is a full Yisrael, then the Gemara seems to say okay, and if they're both, we tell them not to. But the evidence will be okay. But once again, I don't know the halacha l'maisa. Go ask your local your LOR. Right. Yeah. All right. Zak the Mishnah. Mamzer. So one who says their son is a mamzer, and there's a halachic mamzer, not just describing his son, but he says mamzer ain't an eman. He does not have the ne'emanas, right, to go ahead and establish his son as a mamzer. Even if him and his wife maidim al uber, right, she's pregnant, and he says, the father says, this is a mamzer, he ain't mine, and she's like, it's a mamzer. Shemea mamzer. Even Modem al Uber Shemea Mamzer who ain't an eman. That even if both of them say that the Vlad, the fetus is a mamzer, they are not believed to parcel this child. And Rav Yehuda says they are neman. So my v'afilu. What does it mean? Even both of them. So let me buy you, not just him to like kimle, not that he's not certain. Ella afilu the kimla that she would know who is the father of the child. So lahavna. She is also not believed. It's not only after the child is born we assume it's good, and all of a sudden they say it's a mamzer. But even the uber itself, right? There is no chesed kasha. The child wasn't born yet, and we didn't establish it to be Yisrael to now take a mamzer. Nevertheless, it's still not believed. However, Rabbi Yehuda, they are believed. So Kiratani is going to advise us. The pasuk
said for when both parents say it, or even if the father himself says.
Aresha nami polik, right? Even as Rashi says, right? Even on the Resha, even just the father says. Right. Yeah. Kiratani, we're learning a Bryce that says Yakir. The pasuk says of there, right? It says Kias. I'm just reading for the pasuk inside Kias Bechor ben Asnui Yakir, right? He recognizes the older son. So it says Yakir. Yakir. So he knows, he recognizes two others. That someone is believed to say, okay, this child is my Bechor and this one's not. So too, the person is also believed to say that that this child is a ben grusha, ben chalutza, or a mamzer. So we see according to the pasuk of Yakir, we give the Torah gives the father the power to recognize his son and establish his son. He's not believed. So I'm related Rav Nachman Bar Yitzchak. So Bisha, when Rabbi Yehuda says Yakir, I understand why it says pasuk Yakir. Elu Rabbanan Yakir Lamali, right? Why say Yakir? We need to know who's the oldest. Who knows the oldest? We saw who was born first, right? So the Gemara says no, but we're talking about a case of when we don't know. Let's say there's twins and he comes back from the hospital. Or let's say they're out of town for 10 years and he comes back with children. So Lamai, so Lagabi, what does he believe? So let's say Sloi Pishnayim. It has nothing to do with the Yichus to establish it because he can't pass. It has to do with who gets Pishnayim, who gets a double portion. So this is Pshita. It's obvious. Lamali Kra, why do I need the pasuk? So Migo Dibai Misve Le Matana, right? I mean, so he says that if he wants to go ahead and give, understand, why does he need the Torah to say that he's believed to say he's the Bechor? The father wants, he can give all this stuff away as a gift to his oldest son. He can give everything to his oldest son. So believe when he says that. So we're talking about we're talking about, oh no, things that he doesn't have yet. I can't give a gift that I don't have yet. I accept something that's some sort of CD that's going to, whatever it is in the future. So that he's able to go ahead and give. Or a mayor, but according to our mayor who holds that a person can give something that he doesn't have yet. So Yakir Lamli. So why is it Yakir? So my answer is Shanav Lukshu Gaises. In other words, that which we say a person can be Makan Davar Shavi. It means that since later on I'll be able to go ahead and give it to you later on, right? When it matures, I can give it to you right now. But if I'm not around when it matures in a year from now, because he's a Gaises, he's on the throngs of death, then we go ahead and we say, in that case, really don't believe Mashmallah, the pasuk of Yakir to tell us that he does have the ability to say, this is my son, and therefore he gets Pishnayim, even though he'll only get that after he dies. All right, we'll stop here. I didn't anticipate there was no Tachnan. I didn't anticipate that Alan was going to daven. So we got us out a little early. Shkaya.
Hold on, the last